So I want to share one of the most craziest and life-altering experiences I've ever experienced. It was such a deep healing experience. I was able to heal generations and generations of trauma. I literally felt my genetic coding like just alter. I felt my genetics code change. It was freaking crazy. We did the plant medicine 5 times in the 10 days. And the third time was the most craziest. I'm gonna try my best to explain it into words, but it was the wildest thing I can ever imagine. Now, I would not recommend this to everybody. I do strongly believe it would be amazing if every human can experience such a journey, because I do believe the world will be a different place, but I don't think it's for everybody. It is extremely hard. It is not a retreat. It is not a go there and hang out and just chill. It is nothing like that. It is extremely hard work. You have to put in the effort before, during, and after. It's not meant to be abused. It's not meant to be a drug either. It is plant medicine. It is from the earth. It's something that is very sacred. And it's also very important about the set and setting. It's important about the shaman who is leading the experience, who is leading the ceremony. So the way I'm going to do this video is I'm going to divide it in 3 chapters. The first chapter is going to be the introduction, just talking about the plant medicine, my experience, like why I want to do it, the shaman, and just kind of the details around that. So you can skip through that if you just want to jump to like the good stuff. And then the second chapter will be the first time that I did the plant medicine. I'm really gonna pull out my journal and I'm gonna read exactly, like, cause I wrote in my journal 2 hours, like as soon as I got back from the ceremony, like as soon as I did the plant medicine, I wrote in my journal the exact details, and I was still kind of like floating. I was still on the plant medicine. I just wrote what I experienced. So I'm gonna give you the depth of exactly what I wrote, the exact feeling and everything that I experienced. And then the third chapter is the second time I did it. So I'm gonna also explain the second time. I did it 5 times in the 10 days, but if I explain to you all 5 times, it'll be like a 2-hour video, because like the details are amazing and raw, and like you can't skip through all that. Like you have to say exactly what happened, because it's so powerful, right? But the first 2 times are the craziest, most like wild times. So like you're gonna get everything in those two chapters of exactly what happened, what you can expect if you were to do it, and all that kind of stuff. So those 2 chapters are gonna be wild. You're gonna be mind blown on what I experienced, what I felt, and just like, is this real life kind of stuff. Anyways, let's get into it. I've been wanting to do this since I was 14 years old. And at 14 years old, I wanted to do it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to do it to get high. I wanted to do it to like leave Earth and just experience some euphoria feelings and emotions. And when I was 14, I did mushrooms, and I was high a lot on weed and all that kind of stuff. Ayahuasca was like that crazy plant that, like, holy shit, like you leave Earth and you speak to aliens and angels and all these different things that you hear, right? Time passed, years have passed, and I was 20, and the feeling of wanting to do it changed a little bit. I no longer want to do it to get high. I want to do it for the deep spiritual meaning of it, to be able to spend time in an Amazon jungle, to be able to spend time with a shaman, to be able to connect with our ancestors of Earth, to be able to speak to Earth, to be able to speak to animals, in your mind, to be able to connect with whatever the heck it is, because it is different for everybody. That's what I also experienced. There was 10 of us, and every single person experienced something different, yet it kind of all went to the same root. It was interesting, which we'll get to. So the reason I wanted to do it was just to connect to my deeper self. I want to connect to my deeper self and to just peel away the onion and go to the root, right? Let's just go right to the root, because you hear all these stories about, reaching enlightenment and all that kind of stuff. And that was never my goal, to reach enlightenment. But you hear the monks, right? Monks spend 40 plus years meditating in caves and meditating in a monastery, and all this time meditating to achieve enlightenment, to achieve nirvana, which I think is extremely beautiful. And I would love to do such a thing, but it's not something that is appealed to me or as interesting to me. But when I've heard stories about ayahuasca, where you can do the plant medicine and you can tap into that enlightenment feeling, that nirvana feeling, you don't leave the ceremony like, oh, enlightened, oh, I've reached enlightenment, nirvana. That's not what ayahuasca is. But it allows you to tap into it when you're under the influence, and you're able to experience the feeling of oneness. And we'll get to that. And I did feel it for a couple hours, which is the most blissful thing ever. My God, yeah. But anyways, so that's why I want to do it. I want to just dig deeper within, get to the root, feel that depth, and just feel that deepness, and just heal a lot of generational traumas. Like you hear from centuries and centuries of that trauma that we hold into our bodies, and ayahuasca allows you to tap into healing that depth of yourself and to realign your chakras and all that stuff. I did it at the Ayahuasca Foundation. So I've heard of this foundation for over 10 years, and I've always kept a tab of it in my research, and it had the best reviews. It was part of the Shipibo tribe. Well, the Shipibo tribe, there was a shaman from the Shipibo tribe who was the lead, who held the ceremonies for the Ayahuasca Foundation. So I was very appealed to, okay, it's in Iquitos, it's in Peru, right? So it's in South America, which is the land of ayahuasca, where ayahuasca is from. So that was number one for me, is the set and setting. So I wanted the setting, I wanted the area to be at the root. I didn't want to do it in my hometown, like in Canada, in my country. I didn't want to do it there. I want to do it where the plant is from. The other thing is the shaman. I wanted it to be a shaman who has lineage in hundreds and thousands of years of it passed down to family, and just I wanted to be in the lineage of the actual tribe. So that was important to me. And then I just wanted a foundation, a place, an area where they're not for profit. They're more like they help the villages in the area, and they help, like the money goes to something good. That was very important to me. So it hit those 3 buckets. So I was like, okay, this is the place for me. So once I found the foundation, it was time to sign up. So I signed up in 2018. It was about a one year wait. They're extremely busy. So I signed up, and I signed up for 2019. And I was all stoked. I was like, amazing. I'm gonna go to Peru, go to Iquitos, go into the Amazon jungle, spend 2 weeks there, and just spend time with the shaman and with the healers and just get deep with it. But when I planned all this, I was dealing with a lot of my own personal trauma. And it wasn't so much, it was more surface level stuff I was dealing with. It was like relationships, and it was friends, and it was just like things I was dealing with that I was stuck in a rut. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was struggling financially. Like, I was just in a bad place. I didn't want to go there for that reason. I didn't want to go there to heal surface level stuff. I want to go deep. I want to because it's the plant is all about mindset. So the plant knows what you're going through, and that's what it heals, right? So I told myself a long time ago that I want to heal naturally, because seeing the closest people to me struggle so much, and the big pharma and like fail them, I wanted to heal naturally, and I made it like a pact to myself where I want to get to a good level of healing. So it was all through mindfulness and healing and just ancient remedies that wasn't inclusive of plants. What I did is I actually decided to push it to 2023, and I actually went on a trip to Asia for 2 years. And I went to Nepal, and I went to Indonesia, and I went to monasteries, and I just went to like silent retreats where I spent time with myself and just dug deep into healing without the help of plant medicine. And this was just something that I just wanted to do personally. I'm not saying there's a better way or I'm not saying there's a better way. For me, I want to heal, not completely heal, because you never completely heal, but I want to get to a level of, okay, cool, I'm comfortable. Let's now include plant medicine to get even deeper in the healing, to get even higher in terms of connecting with the cosmos, connecting with spirit angels, whatever we want to call it. But I wanted to naturally heal first. So the Shipibo tribe is one of the last tribes in South America. It's one of the last tribes on Earth. And it was so powerful to be in that kind of presence, in that energy, and to just see how they live, like their lifestyle. And it felt like we were back 3,000 years. It was so freaking cool. How the retreat is designed is when you sign up, you get a call from Carlos, who is the person who organizes it and takes care of it. He's done it over thousands of times. He's been involved in ayahuasca retreats, and it saved his life, and his story is an incredible story. So if you ever have the chance, I'd research Carlos from the Ayahuasca Foundation and just look at his story. But he sets up a call with you a couple months before just to understand where you're coming from, where your mindset's at, just to see your status, to see what type of work is needed for you. So we set up a call a couple months before, which we'll talk about in the journal. And then you're supposed to do a dieta, they call it. So a dieta is where for 30 days before the ceremony, you don't do any chicken, you don't do any meat, you don't do any sugar, salt, oil, deep fried, fast food, processed food. Like there is a pretty, like if you Google dieta, you'll see the restrictions and the rules, which was, when I read it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I've literally been on this diet, this lifestyle for 8 years. So I've already done 80% of that diet, which is like, because I've been vegan, plant-based, right? So I was like, that's awesome. So I just had to cut out sugars, and I have to cut out some foods that I wasn't heavy on, like deep fried food. Like I have to cut out fries and all that stuff. So you have to cut that out. And the reason why is, again, I'm not going to go deep into the details of the plant because I'm not well researched in the plant. This is not a field that I study. But the base knowledge that I'm aware of the plant medicine is you're putting in a plant that reads your energies. It reads what's going on, and your microbiome has 100 million neurons, which is all energy, right? So it has so much tapped information in your fat and your tissues. Like there's so much vital information in your body from centuries and centuries. Our genetic coding holds so much data information, and there's so much energy, right? Well, the ayahuasca, the plant, goes into your body and it reads all of this, right? And then it projects it into your mind, and then you experience whatever you experience, and you're reading. Imagine your computer has a virus, and you plug in this tool, and it tells you exactly what's wrong with the computer. That's what Mama Aya is. That's what ayahuasca is. You plug this into your body, and it tells you exactly what's wrong with your body, what's wrong with your mind, what's wrong with your soul. It's amazing what ayahuasca can read from you. So anyways, so if you're eating a lot of deep fried food, and you're smoking, and you're drinking, and you have meat, and you have all these things inside of you, it's also reading that. It's reading the negative of that food, because those are all negative energetic foods, right? Like meat, like it is an animal, and that animal does have a soul, right? It does feel. So when we kill the animal, the stress of that goes into the meat, and then we eat that stress. So we're technically eating the soul, we're technically eating the stress of the animal. But we don't have to go into those details. That's not what this video is about. But the point is, if it's in your body, and then you do the plant, it reads that, and then it reflects it into your mind, it reflects it into your body. And that's maybe how you have a bad trip. So anyways, the dieta was something that I followed strictly, and I'm grateful I've been following it for a very long time. The other thing the plant does, it helps release a DMT, right? And DMT is a natural compound that is found in the brain that released from the pineal gland. So DMT is what allows you to hallucinate. It allows you to connect to deeper realms. It allows you to connect to other things in your mind. And when we dream, the pineal gland releases a little bit of DMT, and that's what they say our dream state is like. So basically this is like dreaming, like tapping into the dream world, but being fully awake and conscious, right? So it's pretty wild what it does. So anyways, that's a bit about the plant. The shaman, right? So we're in this big hut. It's like a big hut. And you do it at night. You start at like 8 p.m. So like it's completely dark. There's no lights. You see nothing and nobody. He has this little candle. You go up, he gives you the ayahuasca, you drink it, you sit back down. There's about 10 of us in a circle. Big circle. We have our own little cushion, kind of like this, but it's more flat out. We lay down. We have our puke bucket, because of course you're gonna purge, which I'll get more into details. But the shaman is actually, he sings songs. And these songs, I think they're called encantos, but these songs, he's able to tap into what you're experiencing. So usually he sings a song, and it's usually for one person only. Yes, we're all there, we're all experiencing, but it tends to be for one person. And he goes into your dream state, well, not your dream state, he goes into your consciousness, he's able to see what you're experiencing. And then what he does is he heals you. So he's able to see your energetic codes. So in quantum fields, in the energetic world, we have these cords. These cords that are tapped into sources. Anyways, we won't get into that crazy stuff. I think it's really fascinating and something I'm still studying and learning. But he's able to see all of our cords, and these cords we've had our entire lives. And sometimes, if we're not meditating every day, if we're not journaling, if we're not balancing ourselves, these cords are all tangled up and they're all crunched up. So what he does is he goes inside of you, not literally, but he goes with you and he helps you realign your cords. And at the same time, that realigns your chakras. So he's realigning your chakras, he's balancing you, and he's realigning your cords. And that is really hard to realign your soul. And the way he explains it, the way that one of the healers with him explained it, is these 10 days is like going into 10 days of surgery. Instead of it being physical surgery, it's mental and spiritual, also for your body. So it's a full body, mind, spirit healing. And it's basically like going into surgery, and you open up your core, you open up your genetics, you open up your entire soul, and then you start healing the soul during like the entire 10 days. Like it's very, very, very hard. It's not easy. It's not chill, like I said earlier. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but the most rewarding. And the songs he sings are like they give out a certain vibration. And that's where the magic happens, is his songs is vibrating at a certain frequency. And that frequency is tapping into all our genetics, into all our codes, into our body. And our entire body starts vibrating at the same frequency as the song. And it is so powerful. Welcome to chapter 1, day 1. So I'm going to read to you what I wrote, my intentions before the ceremony. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Grandmother Moon. Thank you, Grandfather Sun. I'm sorry for the shape that we have put you in, and you continue to providing for us. Just know that I'm aware and I am grateful on behalf of everyone. Today is the day I'm about to experience something I've never experienced. I'm looking forward to it. Zero expectations. We'll just be present and be one with the medicine. What she has planned for me is tailored and designed for me. I've had an amazing sleep last night. I'm well rested and well nourished. Thank you for this opportunity. Do what you want to do. I've learned, and the more I've read and the more I understood, you want to go there with zero expectations. You want to go with zero attachment, and you want to just allow the medicine to do what it's going to do, because it's going to do it anyways. So if you're attaching yourself to something, you're going to have a bad experience because it's trying to teach you to let go. So if you go in there with no expectations, no attachment, no nothing, you should be good, right? Let's find out, because I'm about to tell you what happened. We had a meeting, and then we spoke, and then they said set out 3 intentions. So my 3 intentions were this: understanding my highest purpose, removing my ego, and finding my voice. And then these are some words that the shaman, not the shaman, but the healers were saying. Treating your experience like a search engine. Be present, meditate, and do a body scan. Have a lot of gratitude. If a bad energy is there, ask if it's the medicine. If yes, you may enter, heal me. If it's a bad energy, tell him to leave. Be in your heart, listen to the sound, breathe, and interact with my Maya. So ask questions. Now, this was, you can see the writing is massively different. Maybe I'll show some pictures, but this is awful writing. So I wrote this as soon as about maybe 2, 3 in the morning, the ceremony happened. So now we're in this room, right? We're in this hut, and it's like all these couches are all laying around. And what I wrote is, first ceremony, still 20% high. This was 2 hours after drinking. So I wrote, wow, ... Cannot comprehend what just happened. Easiest way to say it, it looked at the pictures on the wall, which I'll add right now. It hit me quick. I purged within 10 minutes of the song starting. I puked a bunch of times. It was painful, but it felt amazing. It felt like I was purging life of suppressing. After that, the experience started. The entire universe was unfolding. So no joke, it felt like the entire universe was like a Lego set, and it was just unfolding. Everything was just breaking apart. Kind of like Interstellar when Matthew goes into different parallels. Everything was just unfolding while becoming one in itself. So everything was unfolding and it was all becoming one. I was able to ask questions and feel like a passenger. I asked about my intentions, but Mama Ayahuasca had her own plans. I took it with open arms. I let go. No problem. Do you. And I flowed with her. At one point, I was trying to open my eyes to then realize that open or close, it was the same visuals. So this was the crazy part. So I was laying down and my eyes were open, close, and I was like, wait, everything looks the same. So I grabbed my hand and I went to go touch my eyes and I couldn't feel anything. I didn't know if they were open or closed. So if I closed them, if they felt open. And if they're open, they felt closed. It was wild. This was a aha moment. Every time I would touch my face, I'd feel both parts of my body splitting apart. I then felt nobody. I felt like I was on energy in a bigger field of energy. So I didn't feel my body. I didn't feel anything. And I felt like I was just in the energy realm. Reality was gone. Or just not real to begin with. That's what I wrote. Reality was gone, or it was never real to begin with. I felt everybody else's energy. I felt all connected, all one. So I literally felt all one and all connected with everybody. I felt we're all Like we're all just one. I guess that's why I had this shirt say we're all one. My intentions no longer mattered. The bigger agenda of the universe, I had no more identity, I had no more body. I was just unfolding with all the other energies. It all lasted about 1 to 2 hours. So this lasted for about 2 hours. Time did not feel real. It felt much longer than 2 hours. I laid there for another 3 to 4 hours, still high, but only 20%. So that happened for about an hour, 2 hours, like completely like zonked. And then after that, for the next 3, 4 hours, we laid there about 20%. I listened to the amazing music, healing my soul, being present. And then I wrote, I look forward to my next meetup with Mama Ayahuasca. P.S. I laughed and smiled for 90% of the time. Absolutely wild. So that was my experience. And I love reading this because it reminds me of like what I experienced. And then the next day. So the next day, I wrote some quick things. So basically we did a purge in the morning. It was like this cleanse that we put inside our stomach, and it cleans the stomach lining. And from all the dirt over the years, from alcohol, big pharma, drugs, bad food, whatever we've ingested, we drink this type of thing, and it purges, and it removes all the gunk, and it cleans your entire. They say that the tribes and that they do that once a year, and it's a plant from the jungle. You don't get high, but you drink it, and then you purge and you puke, and you're supposed to drink 5 liters of water. You just chug this water and then you puke everything, and it gucks and it cleans everything out. It was not fun. It was the worst experience ever, but I felt so clean afterwards. So then I just wrote the post, right? I wrote just like, this was me sober now. Are we ever sober? But this is me just writing, okay, like what happened? So I wrote, I feel like I experienced the oneness with everything and everybody. I was in a different realm of sacred geometry. Nothing was real. It was much bigger than me, my intentions of me, my human. It was a good first session. It opened my eyes to the complexity, yet the simplicity of life. Everything matters, yet nothing matters. To just flow through life, be present, and just be in just life. I'm proud of me, my mental prep, being healthy, my mindset. I'll continue to be there mentally and let Mama Ayahuasca do her thing. So it's good. Summarize, the other days were amazing days. The shaman would go into the jungle and pull out plants that was specific to our needs. So I would share with the shaman, hey, I have asthma. He would go in the jungle and pull out these plants specifically for me for my asthma. So on the off days, I would do that plant. And it wasn't to get high. It wasn't a high thing. It was a healing the body thing. And a lot of people had other problems and other things, and he would go specifically for that person. So the other days, the off days were like that. But I'll save you from that. I'm just gonna show you the ceremony. Chapter 2, ceremony 2. I wrote keynotes, high as heck, night hour, but info overload. So as you can tell, I was very high, but it was info overload. My asthma is healed. Everything is connected. Eyeballs equals soul. Spirit angels and guides see everything. They experience everything. They can never say it how it is, so they show you through life experience. I remember exactly what happened here. What happened here, I got really, really high that night, and it was deep spiritual stuff. And I met my spirit guides. Some people call them angels. Some people call them other things. I call them spirit guides. And I met 7 of them. I think it was 7 or 9. Maybe I wrote it somewhere. But anyways, I met my spirit guides, and they were just big eyeballs. And when I was experiencing my sacred geometry of life unfolding, and I saw all these spirit guides just staring down at me, all these eyeballs. The words I was getting, it wasn't actual words, it was like this insight. And it was that my spirit guides that are watching over me, they see everything and they experience everything. They see what you're going through, they experience everything, but they can't say it how it is. They can't talk to you, they can't say how it is. So they show you through life experiences. What I got from it was they watch you, they see you do life, and then when you pass away, you then become a spirit guide of one of those spirit guides, and then they do life. It's very interesting what I was experiencing. And then I wrote, bad attracts bad to get you to do the opposite. What does that mean? Bad attracts bad to get you to do the opposite. Interesting. When you take the medicine, you are able to connect with them. So when I take the medicine, when you take ayahuasca, you're able to connect with your spirit guides. That's when the deep healing can start, because it saves you centuries of showing your signs so you can pick up on them or not. So instead of the spirit guides continuing to give you signs your entire life on earth, by doing ayahuasca, you tap into your spirit guides and you're able to actually speak to them and hear from them. So you're saving all these centuries and centuries of trying to learn the lessons when you can actually speak to them through the plant medicine. But within Mama Aya help, everything gets exposed and they help you heal you. So Mama Ayahuasca exposes everything, and the spirit guides guide you through it. Again, feeling oneness. I was feeling 1C with the cosmos. And then what I wrote is I'm a healer. I do people before me. That's my soul. So I always put people first. And I guess because I'm a healer. And I wrote, I want to heal the planet, humans, life, etc. LOL. That's what I wrote. Hi. And I wrote, I'm high as F. I can see energy from the lights. So I guess like I was looking and there's like lights and I was like just seeing the energy. I was seeing the frequency. Absolutely wild. Here I want to talk about the asthma part where I wrote I healed my asthma. Like this was really wild. So phase 1 of the 5-hour ceremony. So phase 1, other people healing 2-ish hours. So it took about 2 hours, everyone was healing. Mama Ayahuasca stayed with me. So I wasn't feeling anything for the first 2 hours. For the first 2 hours, like the other people were really purging. Like what I realized in our conversations, other people didn't experience what I was experiencing. They were like going through intense purging, intense healing. Like there was the 2 guys that I was worried about. They were like screaming and yelling and like they would stand up and like smashing their faces on the ground like they were trying to end it. Like they're really freaking struggling. Like I didn't bring it up, but like they were smoking, drinking beers before like when we were in Quintos, before we got to the spot. So they definitely didn't follow their dietas. By not following their dietas, you can tell by the experience they had in all the 5 ceremonies. They were tripping out, they were struggling, they were suffering, like they're having such a hard time. And I felt for them. I felt like they needed the healing. I hope to this day that they're better, but they're really struggling, man. So anyways, phase 1, other people were healing, took about 2-ish hours. Mama Ayahuasca stayed with me and went deep. She stayed in me for about 3 hours. During that experience, I was seeing a lot of geometric shapes. And an intuition came to me and said, I'm a healer as I put others before me. Once others heal, I then heal myself. But for me to be a healer, I need to heal myself first. Phase 2, I start to feel Mama Ayahuasca. She came, she made her tour and confirmed that it needed to be a cleanse. This is where I went to the quantum field and start to see all geometric and felt oneness with the frequencies of the cosmos. At some point, I felt pure stillness, a feeling I cannot explain. That was a time where I was one with the cosmos. I was up there in the cosmos floating around and it felt complete oneness. I was vibrating at the same frequency as Earth. It was a complete oneness feeling for a long time. This is when the purging started. And I wrote asthma. I started to purge phlegm. So I was purging phlegm, purging. It was coming out of every angle of the lungs. The tea and steam bath from the other day prepared my body for Mama Aya. And Mama pulled out all the phlegm from years of puffers and steroids, because I used to take a lot of puffers. So I guess that coats your lungs, right? That coated my lungs, so much phlegm I had no idea I had. During that 30-60 minutes of purging, I experienced a lot. I was not alone. I had so many eyeballs watching me, so my spirit guides were over me. Eyeballs are your spirit guides and souls from the energy field. I was in the quantum field while I was healing. I went through lineages and generations of traumas and healed my lineage in my gene. I felt my genes get recoded. So I literally felt my genes get recoded and take out all the generations of trauma that have been coded into us. My spirit guides helped me through the process of healing all the generations of why I was born with asthma. Asthma is a malfunction in your genes from trauma. Asthma is a malfunction in your genes of trauma. So what I was experiencing, right, this is 600 plus years ago, something happened in our family. And it could have been something where one of us, maybe did something bad, maybe killed somebody, maybe stabbed someone in the lungs, maybe did something, and it stuck with them forever. And it passed down from lineage to lineage and stayed in that genetics code of how much impact it caused. Crazy. And then I spoke about spirit guides. So they watch you every day and give you insights through your gut, intuition, and mind. So when you get gut intentions, intuition, all that stuff, those are your spirit guides. But since we always have ego and a monkey mind, it's hard to know what it is, what it's from. Spirit guides or outside influences, Mama Ayahuasca allows us to connect with our spirit guides as they are energies, and you're now turned into an energy. So they can help you heal you quicker. They know you better than anybody. They know where you need to be guided. And that's why it's like 10 years of therapy. Therapy helps you talk through your thoughts, spirit guides. But Mama Ayahuasca connects you with them directly. Like that was wild. Like, I was like an aha moment. It's like, so therapy, if it's a good therapist, right? Because there's a lot of therapists out there that are just book smart, but they're not experience smart. They don't have the wisdom. They have the knowledge, but not the wisdom. So if it's a good therapist, it helps you talk through your spirit guides. So it's like your therapist is tapping into the spirit guides without them actually knowing, or maybe some of them do know. But Mama Ayahuasca connects with them directly. So it's like you're right away talking to your spirit guides and you're healing with them. And then I wrote eyeballs. What were the eyeballs? To me, these are the souls, the energies in the quantum field. Once I connect with the field, I'm able to connect with all the souls that have passed away or preparing to rebirth. So when I was experiencing that, I saw hundreds and thousands of eyeballs. At the beginning, they were my spirit guides, but then I started to see a lot of them. And I felt like my energy, my spirit self was up there. Like my physical body was down here on earth, but my energy was up there. And I saw thousands and thousands of eyeballs. And I felt like these eyeballs are souls, spirits, waiting to be rebirthed, waiting for them to be called into a womb, a new baby, to be birthed. And I felt like I was passing by all of them. And I was just like floating around and just in the energy field. It was wild. And this is where it's interesting. Buddhist philosophy talks about 49 days. After you pass, till you find your new vessel. So in Buddhist philosophy, they say you pass away, you die. And then up to 49 days, you find your new vessel. It could be a plant, it could be an animal, it could be a human. When I was up there experiencing this, I was seeing that. I was seeing these people who have passed away. I'm seeing them getting ready for rebirth. Like I'm just seeing souls, I'm seeing spirits, but they're just in the form of eyeballs to me. And I wrote, while those energies are floating around in the field, now you're able to connect with them as they are also figuring out what is happening to everybody. It's just connected oneness. I also believe those eyeballs are some of your guide. And then I wrote this cool thing, Inquitos, the song. So just about the song and what their expertise is and why Inquitos is so powerful. So I'm like, so cool how the songs are calling to Mama Ayahuasca. The vine, the Mama Ayahuasca vine, and getting it to the dance through your body. So the song is getting the vine to dance through your body and come out to purge. So it's dancing through your body and pulling out the purge. It's crazy how the shaman sees the song through his visions. It's crazy how different healers and shamans use different songs that speak to different beings. Some purge later, some purge right away. Songs are the frequencies that call to Mama Ayahuasca. It's cool how it's a 10-day surgery. We are under surgery with a shaman in Mama Ayahuasca. Our body is doing a full body healing our body and aligning our chakras. Our energies are getting improved and realigned. Currently, I am wide open and vulnerable. Going into the third ceremony, the middle of the surgery, just finished the third steam bath, feeling ready. Oh, I'm excited to eat some good vegan food. So that's the first two ceremonies. That's the first two big plant medicine experiences. And I was going to read you the entire journal, and then I realized it's getting long. And the first two were the craziest. And the third one was the same thing. It was just as wild. And the fourth and fifth day that we did the plant medicine, it started to just get a little bit more chill, and I was able to more navigate with the plant. So the first two were like wide open. It blew me open, expanded me, and I healed in so many ways. And the third, fourth, fifth was kind of just closing me up and just saying like, hey, take off. What came up was my purpose, like what I'm meant to do on earth. What came up was what I need to heal and what I need to continue to work on. And it was all amazing. And basically, just to summarize everything, ayahuasca is something that I think everyone should do when they're ready. I don't think you should just jump on it. I think it's something that you need to do research. I think it's something that you need to get more informed with. I used to watch documentaries on ayahuasca just to learn more about the plant. I did make sure I did a lot of meditating. I made sure I was in a good state. I also want to say that this is my experience. There is one thing that I made sure that I did is I never listened to anybody else's experience. So if you're listening to my experience, forget it all. Pretend you didn't hear anything. It was one thing that because how important the mindset is, right? So if you have other people's experience in your mind, you're expecting something, or you have this expectations, oh, I want to feel that, oh, I want to go through that, oh, I want to do that, that will not happen. And the reason why is because everyone's different. Everyone has their own traumas, their own genetics coding. Like everyone is going through life differently. So you can never experience what I experienced, and the people I was with experienced completely different things. It all depends where you're at, right? And that's why I was worried about making this video. That's why it took me a long time to share my experience, is because I was worried that my experience will put expectations on somebody like, oh, Chris went through that. Chris had a really good time. Yes, he purged and yes, he puked, but he didn't trip out. He didn't like, I didn't see demons. I didn't see anything bad. Like, it was a very overall amazing experience. Like, it was a very blissful experience, a very healing experience. Yes, I puked a lot, and yes, I saw crazy stuff, and yes, it was unbelievable, but I was very still. And I don't think that's normal. I don't know. I don't really listen to other people's experience. I was just, the healers that were there, because there was a shaman and the healers, right? The healers are not shamans. They've done it multiple times. They're learning the plant, right? But a lot of them came up to me after the ceremonies and just asked like how my experience was, and they were all kind of impressed and shocked and kind of like, oh, cool. Like, if you wanted to, you can actually come do this with us and like learn the plant medicine and like lead ceremonies if you want to. Again, this would take 12 months of practice and learning. Like, you can't do it right away. But he was saying I was in a good mind, like I was able to do that. Like, the plant connected with me and I had a deep connection with the plant. And it was an honor to hear that. It was a very humbling feeling. But the reason I say that is not because I want to like, oh, like, look at me. That's not what it is. It's more so just to have your own personal reflection on yourself, to not listen to my experience, right? Because everyone's experience is different. I just don't want anybody to take all this in like, okay, I'm doing ayahuasca because I want to feel that. Just the two people that were there, the toxic masculine energy that was there, the two guys, like one of them was big on like drugs, like he did a lot of heroin and he did a lot of drugs, and the plant medicine saved his life. It did. I saw it save him, and he said it like it helped me, and it was so pure to see. But his experience was much different than mine. His was like, he saw the death of his mom, he saw the death of a lot of things, like he was like smashing the ground, yelling, like he was having the worst time of his life. But he said he would do it again, and he was grateful he did it, right? So I just want you to know, to have a proper threshold to understand that if you're dealing with something very traumatic and very intense, that plant medicine could help, and I highly do believe it will help. But the experience you will have will be 10x more intense, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I just don't want me to share this and then you go in thinking it's going to be, like oneness and floating around the quantum field, and then like you get hit with like demons and you get hit with like this intense stuff. But just know you're in a very safe space. The shaman and the healers take care of you. They're there for you. The people that were really having a hard time and seeing all this stuff, the shaman was there, dialed in, helping him. And then after it, like the day after when we did all our talks, all the people that experienced that were all very happy. They're all very grateful of how they were taken care of, how safe they felt. And one of the persons that tripped out the most out of everybody ended up booking again to go the year after. So I just go to show you, like, yeah, you can have the hardest time of your life and worst experience ever, but like you still want to do it because you know that it's healing the depth of your body that you need it. I may do it again in a couple years, 5 years, 10 years. I don't feel a calling to do it again at this moment. I feel like I tapped into some amazing fields, some amazing energy fields, and I tapped into the universe and cosmos. I felt like I tapped into what I want to tap into. I felt what I want to feel like. I really got my direction, my North Star, my purpose. And I got what I needed from it. And for that reason, I'm good right now. And I'm sure the more I take on life, the more, new traumas come and new things come that I need to navigate through and heal, that I'm going to need the help of my spirit guides. I'm going to need the help of Mama Ayahuasca. And when that time does come, I will go into that thought of doing it again. But at this current state, I'm really confident, I'm really happy, really satisfied. I meditate every day still, and I don't feel what I felt then, but I still feel like I have the connection I have with my spirit guides. Anyways, I want to keep this video, as chill as possible, like not too long, but I really want to share my experience of my journey with Mama Ayahuasca in hope that it inspires and motivates someone to, dig deep into their journeys of healing. And I would love to hear from you if you have done it. I'd love to hear what your experience was like. How did you experience it? Like, did you experience similar that I've experienced, or was it completely different? Because like, I'm also like, wanting to know more. Is my experience completely unique, or do some people experience similar things? And if you're thinking of doing it, please reach out. Don't be shy. I would love to chat and to talk more about how you want to do it, why you want to do it. And I would love to help you organize yourself mentally and prepare yourself to take on such adventure. Because again, I highly think Highly recommend that everyone does that. I think it would turn the world upside down in a positive way. I think everyone would be so happy and really following what is meant to follow their hearts, and people would just be different. Anyways, with love. Peace.